Okay, everybody, let's get going. Welcome to the regular city council meeting of the city of Cross Lake. It's November 12th at 7 p.m. Let's stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first off, we've got some additions to the agenda. We've got some additional bills for approval. A memo dated November 12th, commission appointments. Resolution regarding HSIP project. Email dated November 12th from Kathy Allen, request to table action. And first reading of the ordinance to regulate cannabis. We need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda, or additions to the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have public forum. Action may or may not be taken on any issue raised. If council requires more information, they will consider it on the next meeting. Speaker must state their name and address. Does anybody have anything today? Come on up, John.
John Forney, 13666 East Shore Road, Cross Lake. At the September City Council meeting, Tony Coffey and I advised the council on the aggressive aquatic invasive species that had been found in the channel of Rush and Lower Whitefish. We asked you to close the access, which was part of a city-owned right-of-way on Rush Lake. It was adjacent to the infected area, and that was done very quickly the next day, and that was great. Tony Coffey would normally be making this presentation, but he had a prior, he didn't realize we'd be doing this on Tuesday night, so. The Whitefish area property owners implemented their aquatic invasive species rapid response plan in September 9th. Starry stonewort, a highly invasive algae, was found in the Rush Lake Channel in early September during a PLM Lake and Management Corporation survey of public and private boat accesses on the chain. The plan to deal with this AIS was developed in conjunction with the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources, the Minnesota Aquatic Invasive Species Research Center, MACERC, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the county, and the city and its staff, as well as there was an experienced representative from Lake Coronas down by Paynesville. Lake Coronas, back in 2015, was the first lake in the state to get an infestation of starry stonewort, and they have never been successful in fully eradicating that once it had become established. And I think that's an important thing to understand about this situation. The infestation at Rush Lake covered approximately an acre. A silt fence barrier was put up by PLM around the affected area that was identified by the DNR to minimize the spread of the algae. 2 Minnesota DNR divers, along with a volunteer from the Crow Wing County Sheriff's Office, and 40 or 50 volunteers supporting them, worked 2 days to hand pull the algae in a portion of the affected area. The harvested algae was taken to Wanabo Excavating. They have a private dump site which met with the DNR's requirements about distance from any water any public water, and was the closest dump to the infested area. The following day, PLM applied copper-based algicide to control the growth of the algae into the winter. After the DNR inspected the area, a second chemical treatment was applied 2 weeks later. That was on October 25th. Reports from the DNR and PLM indicate that the concentration of starry stonewort was significantly reduced. New surveys will be done in the spring to determine what action we have to do going forward. At this time, no other areas of starry stonewort have been detected. The DNR looked extensively after it was discovered. WAPOA contracts with PLM to do 3 extensive, intensive aquatic plant surveys each year, and we'll be looking to expand that to areas that may not be now checked. We can't predict when or where another starry stonewort infestation might be found in the chain. We are certain that mounting a similar volunteer effort in the future would be quite difficult at best. The cost to treat the 1 acre on Rush was close to $10,000. WAPOA applied to Crow Wing County to reimburse them for most of the cost, and it turns out that that was about $8,000. So that offset a good portion of the cost. Now, just as reference, Lake Coronas Association, in the time that they've had it, has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars attempting to just manage what they have. They haven't gotten rid of it. Whitefish is about 5 times, the whitefish chain is about 5 times bigger than Lake Coronas. So we have to keep it in mind that it could become an ongoing battle. We just can't afford it to let starry stonewort spread further and become established elsewhere on the chain. We want to thank the city of Cross Lake for responding to this situation as rapidly and in as many ways as you did. We all know our lakes are very important to our economy and our way of life. So we'll keep you informed as we determine next steps. Michael Duncan has been involved with this very much, and if you have questions, we'd be happy to answer them, but we just wanted to bring you up to date on where things are at.
Is that all that was taken just from here?
Yes.
1 acre is a large area.
And they maybe got half of it when they were hand pulling.
How long do they think that that's been establishing? I mean, how quickly does it grow?
Well, it's difficult to age it exactly, but the infestation has been there more than a year, and they fear less than 3 years because they found mature zebra mussels in the algae. And a mature zebra mussel is going to take from 1 to 3 years to go from villager to an adult, and then establish itself in the starry stonewort. So that was from the DNR estimation. Somewhere between 1 and 3 years it's been there.
Yeah, seems kind of hopeless, but we'll see what happens.
Well, it'll be more hopeless if it gets in more places. That's the only thing you can say. Hopefully, if we're lucky, we might be able to stem it, but
How many loads did you guys bring out?
We did 2 loads in the dump trailer. The amazing thing was, by the time we brought the load the second day, the first load was almost done nothing because it's almost all water. I mean, it just
it's 80
cuts down nothing, and within a week or 2, it's just dust.
Yeah, I think they
Because
said
it's
it's
algae, it doesn't live out of water. So.
it's about 80% water.
Yeah. Well, thanks for keeping an eye on it, and thanks for doing what you did.
Thank you. Thank you for the report.
Yeah.
We couldn't have done it without you guys help closing the access and providing support for us, so thank you.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
you bet.
Thanks for your efforts as
Thanks,
well.
guys. Anybody else have anything? Seeing no movement, we'll close public forum. Next, we have the consent calendar. All items listed are considered to be routine by the city council and will be acted on by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a citizen or council member so requests. Do we have anything tonight?
Well, I just wondered, are we, last month we were told we were caught up on minutes. Now we have February minutes again. There's 3.
I thought we were, but they were done, but they weren't all brought to you. So there were
Oh, I
some
see.
stragglers out there.
Okay,
I just,
all right, just wondered.
I move to approve all items on the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, mayor and council members report. We got a memo dated November 8th from the city clerk, canvas election results. What are we to do with this, Shar?
I need a motion to approve the certification of election results as presented.
Okay.
Is there any reason to think there will be a recount or anything else?
Not at this point.
Okay, then I move to accept the report as submitted.
I'll second it.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The Cross Lakers, who's going to do this, Pat? Are you going to do it? We want to talk about the holiday decorations, discuss installation, maintenance of decorations. Come on up.
Good evening, Pat Netco, 36084 County Road 66, Cross Lake. We are so thankful that our road project is complete, and it's awesome. As we have discussed in the past, having Christmas decorations and figuring out what we can do for that. The Cross Laker group has met, and Cindy and I met with Patrick, and we discussed some options. And it was the consensus of the group. Lori was there and Sandy was there, and we were talking about, instead of wreaths like are at Town Square. Can I show this? This is what Town Square has right now. The reason I'm going to show you this is because the brackets that are on here, Patrick has looked at, and they we made a phone call to a company, and the brackets of what we're looking at will work with our new light poles. There are 8 new light poles around town. So we were thinking that it might be better to have a snowflake, a lit snowflake that could last all the way through Winterfest rather than having to be taken down at Christmas like the wreath will. And so we have done some research, and Lori has helped do some research on some other companies as well. We have come up with a quote, and it's not a final quote, but this is something that if we were to do this, we would like to proceed as soon as possible if this gets approved. And if there is money left over to do this beautification project that will go along with our beautiful road project. The snowflakes that we're looking at, there are many styles like this. If you've seen the banners that are up on the poles, the Welcome to Cross Lake banners that are now mounted everywhere, they would go on the opposite side. So in other words, the banner would be on the right and the snowflake would be on the left. And the brackets will stay up there, and the snowflake easily fits into the brackets. And then other items, for instance, they do have a shamrock that we could go right into St. Patrick's Day if we eventually decide to do something like that. Or other options. Here's a picture of the shamrock that could be put on the poles.
Is that plugged in with 110, a cord? Is that how you power it? Yeah?
So Patrick looked at all the specs, and we discussed storage and all those things. So if this gets approved and they come, the original boxes that they come in would be saved. I spoke with the gentleman at Downtown Decorations, and he said, when you do these, if you take care of them, he's got people who have had them for 20 to 25 years and just keep reusing them. So it's not a one and done thing. They'll last for a long time. And Patrick has stated that we do have room in the basement here so that they wouldn't have to be out in the public works area out there, outside. They could be inside, downstairs, in the original boxes. And then they could be put up in November and not taken down until the
St.
middle of
Patrick's Day,
February,
yeah.
or St. Patrick's Day, yeah,
How many are there?
18.
18.
And they are at a cost of $710 each. Yep, and that comes to a total of $12,780. Now Lori did find another source, and this is a source that we will do some due diligence if this gets approved tonight and tomorrow, and I would work with Lori and see if there would be a savings, possibly, with another company. However, their supply is limited and they're going out the door fast. So because we are in the middle of February already, we're not sure what we can get from them, but maybe we can get some at a reduced price from them and fill in with the other place. So that's why there's not a definitive number, but I'm wondering if we can propose a not-to-exceed number. That number, the $710 each, does not include shipping, and we would have to determine which snowflakes we're going to order. And the group, the Crosslaker group, decided instead of ordering just one kind of snowflake, and they've got like 6 or 8 different styles of snowflakes, that we would like to have multiple styles so that in the future, if there's other light poles added with future road projects, we could add snowflakes and they would blend in with the other ones with the same type of lighting. There's an option of warm lighting and cool lighting and all that. We would want them, that part of it to be all the same. But the snowflakes could all be different shapes.
Pat, did you come up with a price for the shamrocks?
Yep, and actually, the shamrocks, if we wait and order them after January 1st, we can get them for, just one second here. Too many papers here. Here it is. So a 4-foot, the snowflakes, you can get them in either 3-foot, 4-foot, or 5-foot. The banners are 5-foot long. So we thought a 4-foot would offset it and balance and look really good. So if we get a 4-foot shamrock and we order them in January, they would be $385 a piece.
I'm sorry, how much?
$385 a piece times 18 is $6,930.
And Public Works is happy to,
Yes, and Patrick said that as soon as they come, that they could get them up.
Yep.
And they know what the brackets look like because it's the same brackets that are over in Town Square with the wreaths. And so they're conducive to our new poles and will look good and can stay up there. So in the future, when they go to put the new decorations up, it's just a matter of sticking them in.
Yep.
Pat, what else is on the wish list?
Well, I was talking with TJ, and of course, we've talked about benches with a slab underneath with possibly some kiosks. And I know that Mike O'Connell has come up with a grant for a trailhead kiosk that TJ was talking about. So those things, I've asked TJ to include a couple of Crosslakers, and maybe the PAL Foundation and Park and Rec, in a conversation about that, of where those could be placed and what we need for those. So the benches and the slabs and the kiosks, if we just have 2 or 3 around town with the option, you know, eventually, if our sidewalk continues in 2026, if there's a project, we'll see, then we would have more then. So I'm not sure about that, and I don't have a cost for doing those, but that is on a wish list.
is there an option that perhaps some residents would want to, you know, purchase a bench
Oh,
as a
absolutely.
dedication?
And we've kind of discussed that, and I really feel if we put that out there, that we could probably get the benches paid for, have a little plaque, you know, in memory of, you know, which would be really cool. So basically, it'd be the cost of the slab being poured, and then if we want to do some kind of a wayfinding kiosk, that would be, you know, with a map on it, and you are here, and go this way for that, and, you know, what's in Cross Lake, and,
Usually PEL takes care of the benches.
right,
And then they contribute to PEL.
right.
The
That's
dollar
why
amount,
we
the
want to work
cost.
with TJ, and TJ is thinking about the locations for these things, so we just want to make sure that we're having good communication and coordinating this.
Yeah, but the city does not have to budget for those benches.
Right now, you can buy a memorial bench through the Parks Department, and it's $900. That covers the bench, the engravings, and the cement to be poured.
Yeah.
And that's
Oh,
for
and
labor as
cement.
well. That price will probably go up as we go into the future,
But
just because,
it'll go up for the donator.
well, the benches got, pretty much, they've doubled in price. The recycled benches, plastic benches. And we'd probably want to keep them uniform to what we have around town already, so we could just go with the same program we have.
That's why it should go through Pell, because they know exactly what benches they've been getting and the contributions.
We've
They
changed it
handle
back
all
to the
that.
city because we are paying, out of that $900, it is labor towards city staff. And that's, I think it kind of got goofed up for a couple of years. It should go through the city since the city staff are pouring the concrete and installing the benches, if that makes sense.
Okay, I just thought that they were contributing,
So Pat, when we started that project, we budgeted some money for stuff.
50,000.
And Lori, are you comfortable with what we have left, what the balance is?
For the lights and the shamrocks, but. Sorry, for the lights and the shamrocks, we are comfortable with that until we get the final bill from the county. Although we have a good estimate, we'll know what's left in that fund.
So should we look for a motion to not exceed $25,000 or something?
Wait a minute, I'd like to know where we're at.
We're at about
We don't-
19.8 plus shipping.
Where'd you?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what we have left on that 50,000.
Well, it was 700,000 or something.
750,000.
Well, I know that, but there was 50,000 dedicated to beautification, or whatever they came forward. It was 700,000, and then 50,000 was supposed to be for beautification.
I didn't think it was limited to 50,000.
Yeah, it was, but that's okay.
It was plantings in the roundabout, it was a lot of stuff
Okay.
that we
The
did.
50,000 came in because we added that one lane on Swan Drive. So that 50,000 got added to cover that added asphalt cost. And just nod your head if I'm right. You're the one that presented it. You presented it. But that's where the 50 came from. We had 750,000 for our cost of the beautification and stuff of the street. And then the 50,000 was for the added asphalt that got dropped in there.
So where we're at today is we had 750 budgeted, and
Yeah.
we have approximately 100,000 left. And we need the county to come up with the final billings and whatever, but we've got about 100.
Well, my goal would be to order these tomorrow
So if we.
and get them here as soon as possible. because
And the
Patrick said
numbers
we-
come up to about 19.8 for the shamrocks and the snowflakes? So,
Can we ask Tim? Can we ask Tim what we had in that fund for, I mean,
we need an
discussed that.
explanation, Tim.
do you recall?
Welcome to the party, Tim.
Yeah, it might as well be. Because it's part of that funding.
I don't, I mean, these are the city finances, of course.
Yes.
And alls I can share with you right now is what our estimates are. Mayor Nevin reached out to me for this anticipating this very question, and we have come up with the current estimate will be about 650 total, all said and done for the city. Within the next week, Lori, we will bill you for $638,000. So you can get it in the year that you budgeted it, and then after the first of the year, after we iron everything out with the contractors, it'll be, clean it up, maybe another 10 or 12,000. So
Oh, so we got room.
you are under budget.
Okay.
The cost share agreement that you signed with us was $695 and change. That was under the budgeted amount that
We were at
Mike set
7.
aside for this at $750. And I
Okay.
think that's the question Mayor
Yep,
Nevin was
it was a
asking.
long way around, but we got there. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Okay.
Thanks, Tim.
So could we make a motion to allocate or approve?
Well, can I throw one more wrench in the fire?
Oh, sure, Pat.
We would also like to get American flags, which after St. Patrick's Day, there could be an American flag, same size, the proper size to go on the poles, whatever that size flag needs to be. And
Every
have
pole.
them, after St. Patrick's Day is done, we don't need to have, we can have Easter flowers. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do, but I don't,
Every
for right
pole?
now. Every
American
pole,
flag,
to
every
have
pole.
an American flag on every pole.
Perfect, perfect.
Cost of those to have
I
an
don't know.
estimate.
I don't know. I would work with Lori, because she's got a lot of sites maybe to look at flags to see. And then we'd work with Patrick to make sure with the poles of what size flag we would need to get. So I'll be glad to work with you all and make sure that we can get those, so those could go up by, say, April.
But for the purposes of expediting the purchase of the snowflakes and the snowflakes, we could make a motion to allocate or approve a certain amount of money.
Got a second. What you need now is the snowflakes. Am I not correct?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. January, they could do, or even in December, once we have the bills and stuff, we could do the shamrock. And
Right, right. Right now, if we just paid for the snowflakes right now, but had the approval to order the the shamrocks, we would order those in January, because it will be cheaper for us to do that, and they don't have any shamrocks in stock right now.
Yeah. Okay, then, so we should actually concentrate on the snowflakes.
Get the
if I'm-
snowflakes ordered right away and tell the guy that in January, we're going to order the snowflakes. But I would like approval for all that tonight, so that we don't have to come back to you
Right.
with that.
Okay, move. Go ahead.
I would say we should approve 15 grand or something anyway.
Well, 20. How much? I think 20 or 25, just to make sure.
Well,
we have
it's
enough.
12.7 for the snowflakes.
Oh, for the snowflakes.
But
That's all you're
including,
looking
but
at.
if you approve for the shamrocks, then we don't have to come back to you, and then that's approved to order in
Oh,
January.
well, that's fine. I thought we just decided not to do that till January, but that, whatever. Yeah.
Well, how would you rather have it? Approve everything now and then do the ordering for the shamrocks in January?
That would work as well. And don't forget that that did not include shipping and handling.
Right.
So we
Right.
want to allow for that expense as well.
I think that we should make a motion to approve up to no more than 25,000.
Yeah, second.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion? The only thing I'd like to specify is that they're only American flags.
Yes.
We're not ordering flags now.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you very much.
Get them ordered. Thanks, Pat. Correct.
Correct.
Yep.
Snowflakes and
Tim, do you have something to add? Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I'd hope to speak before the motion was passed, but one of the things that concerns me about putting more electrical things on those poles is, and one thing you might not know, is that the county's paying the electrical bill for those lights. And so this is all new lighted things plugged into where it's into our circuit. And so I'd like to maybe explore just how we even up on that. You know, we can see what the cost difference is, and maybe we can work out. So it's not a reason to deny
Does the
it.
county realize the tax base that the city of Cross Lake contributes to the county's funds?
Right.
Could we get solar snowflakes?
Don't even.
I just bring it up. It is new, electrical. I guess we knew that there was plugins on that, but it was in April this year that I was directed by the county board, right before the project started and after the cost share agreements were signed and all that, that the city or the county would start paying the electrical bill on all of the lights that are adjacent to the county system. So it is a new thing. And it's not a reason to deny it. I just maybe acknowledge that maybe we'll come back, and if we see a huge difference between, during summer or when they're not plugged in, that we have a conversation about that if it's substantial.
Maybe we could meter one street light, and you'll find out exactly, multiply it by 18, and there you got your bill.
And it might
And then the
not,
difference when the snowflakes are plugged in?
exactly. I think there's an easy way to find it out. But
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring it up because we might have to talk about it in the future if it is substantial. I don't think it will be. It sounds like essentially all winter, when the lights are on the most, and then these
How do they do it?
things will be lit up, they'll be on the most, and so.
It'll be
Point
fine.
taken.
It'll be fine, Tim.
Well, let's look at it. I just don't want to surprise you later. I just want to eyes wide open, then we might, if there's a difference, we might. And if it's not a huge difference, maybe we can.
We don't want to
we
surprise
can
you
talk
either.
about that.
You're going to have to meter it.
You're gonna have to, yeah. Well, we'll get the bill, and then we'll get the bill with it off, and we'll have a basis for it, so. Minor thing, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't mention it, so.
We will make a note.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Okay, next, we have a resolution accepting donations. We've got donations of $1,000 from the Doherty Family Fund, dedicated purpose to the fire department, Cross Lake Firefighters Relief Association for $9,700 to help in the construction of the new cold storage building. Sonia Slack donated her 8 hours of service for the general election. So we need a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion that we approve the donations as listed.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we've got Bonnie Schlapko has got a deferment of a special assessment for the Daggett Pine Road. And right now, Shar, I might ask you to help me a little bit, but I think if it's $1,000 or more, we have a deferment program for seniors.
Our ordinance reads $1,000 or more.
Okay.
Is that the only thing stopping that?
Correct.
This individual has got a $500 assessment.
Yeah. If they have a hardship and they've shown they've got a hardship, I think the $1,000 was just a threshold because they thought there was never going to be an assessment under $1,000. I'm thinking, but I would make a motion to approve the deferred assessment for Bonnie Schlick.
I'll second that.
Well, can we have a discussion?
Yeah,
Because,
now.
I mean, I've looked at all of the ordinance and, I mean, it seems so unfair to force this person to pay, but we're breaking the ordinance if we do.
So do we have to change the ordinance?
We would have to amend the ordinance.
Right.
Yeah.
And if we amend the ordinance, I mean,
So the motion should be to amend the ordinance, actually, right?
But she wants to know, otherwise it's going on her taxes. Now.
I know, but I mean, we can't just randomly, contradict an ordinance that we have in place. Just, I mean, because it's a nice thing to do. I mean, I feel that way too. but-
Right.
I don't know why the ordinance has an amount in there.
Well, unfortunately, it does.
How hard is it for us to amend the ordinance down to $500?
I believe that's 2 readings
Yes, it is.
to amend the
And
ordinance.
at that point, then which would take you into probably January.
And the assessment roll has to be certified by the end of November. So November 30th is a deadline, which is a weekend, and then we have Thanksgiving before that, so we'll have to have it certified by Wednesday prior to Thanksgiving. So we have to consider that as well.
Could we initiate some kind of a fundraiser to help this individual? I mean, the city can't, but,
We'll get inundated with requests on that
exactly.
side. So we would, and tonight would not be the first reading, so we would have to have separate day or whatever to have the first reading and then the second reading. Correct, Jordan?
Jordan, could you answer that?
Yeah, you were asking about the timing of the reading. We'd have to go in and make an amendment, publish, do the first reading, come back, do the second reading. At that second reading, then you could vote to publish the amended ordinance.
So we could have this the first reading, and in 10 days, we could have a special meeting and adopt the ordinance and publish.
The amendment.
Well, okay, the amendment to the ordinance.
I just want to point out, for whatever it's worth, this letter from Bonnie was written on July 8th.
That was the day of the, right.
Yeah.
I just think it's a slippery slope if we start changing amendments to accommodate individual requests.
Well, so you're going to have to live with the results.
I know, I mean, this is where it's hard to be a council member, because it's, they're tough decisions, but I just want to abide by, our rules.
Just to ask staff, is there any chance, do you think, that we could get it done? Or do you think,
Unless we do special meetings.
And Jordan, did you say that we need to publish it one time?
You would need to, and frankly, as I'm reading this, and I haven't looked at this beforehand, but I'm looking at your ordinance, and it's section 42-152. You have the first two kind of hardship indicia that would establish a prima facie case for a hardship, but then number 3 there that says, notwithstanding the foregoing, so regardless of what it says above, the city council may determine that a hardship exists on the basis of an exceptional and unusual circumstance pertaining to an applicant not caused by the above standards. But any determination shall be made in a non-discriminatory manner and shall not give the applicant an unreasonable preference or advantage over other applicants.
But
So there does seem to be some language there that may be applicable, and obviously I don't know the facts at play here. But was there any consideration for that language?
Well, what about when in the first paragraph it says, when all the following apply? So then when it says all the following apply, that's 1, 2, and 3. Doesn't say one or the other.
Yeah, under that interpretation, 3 doesn't make any sense to me, right? Because 3 is saying, regardless of what 1 and 2 say, there's still this opportunity to determine that a hardship exists. So I see how that's kind of confusing, a little convoluted in how it's written.
Well, Jordan, if you think that language gives us some wiggle room,
I was gonna say, perfect, take advantage of it.
I mean, if legally we're not liable
Yeah, you don't want to establish the basis, right? Because as it points out in the language there, you don't want it to appear or be discriminatory, right? Or give unreasonable preference to a given applicant over others, right? So you want to articulate what the basis is for finding that a hardship exists in this exceptional and unusual circumstance.
well, I think if our lawyer is telling us that,
Yeah.
that we can utilize that verbiage, then I think we should go ahead and,
Do you want to make the motion?
I think we should move
think we
forward and
already
change
moved.
the ordinance.
We moved and seconded already.
And Jordan, would you use, I mean, in her first letter, she wrote her age and she wrote her monthly income.
Yeah.
Would you use those 2 items as the basis for the exception?
You can certainly use that as the basis, yeah.
okay. Okay, well, after discussion, should we call for a vote?
Can you read, what was the motion again?
Yeah, you made it, I second.
To approve the request for
Right.
deferral.
Okay, motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, motion carries. I think we should go forward and probably change the ordinance, so.
Well, I think maybe you should just keep your assessments $1,000 or more.
Yeah.
We're not changing the ordinance.
I don't think we should, no.
Okay.
There's the basis. We found the basis.
Exceptions if they come in and we can accept it.
And unless someone brings it forward to change it, but.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
What's the assessment worksheet? That's
Oh, okay,
nothing.
We just went through that, that's not too, so we're at D5.
Oh, commission appointments, okay. We have got some vacancies in the Planning and Zoning Commission coming up January 1st, so I want to make a motion to appoint 2 alternate for the Planning and Zoning Commissions, Cooper Hanning and Jeff McGrath. And the purpose for doing this before January is just so they're on notice that they're going to be alternates and they can attend a few meetings and get caught up a little bit.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, is there any other discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Ms. Conway?
So the first one is a request from Up North Social for an off-sale liquor license. Right now, our ordinance says that we have 7, and so this would be an amendment to have 8 off-sale. And we do have Up North Social here, if you wanted to come up and speak.
How many are we allowed to have? 7 is what?
Our ordinance is limited to 7. However, state statute allows us to have as many as the council wants to have.
We could have one here.
This is the one we put on hold. Well,
No.
no, this is a different one.
This is a different one, so with that in mind, you still might have wind down coming, maybe by next summer, to ask for the same thing.
After me.
Off sale, you mean?
All right. Good evening, Sandra Krinky, 24886 County Road 36 in Emily, and I'm the owner of Up North Social. And I'm just requesting the off-sale license. It's for beer and wine only, and the primary use of it is because I want to host wine tastings at my establishment. I've had a lot of customers interested, and a couple of my wine reps that are interested in coming in. It's a great way for the wine reps, obviously, to make a little bit of revenue off of coming in and doing those tastings, and also customers who are looking to purchase the wine that I sell on tap in a bottle. So there wouldn't be any liquor sold at my establishment, and the primary purpose of my business would still remain food, the charcuterie, the salads, the sandwiches, the wine and the beer on tap, and then the opportunity to also sell some bottles of wine occasionally.
I mean, it's not like she's opening a liquor store. I mean,
No.
it's going to be a limited amount of, liquor
Very
being sold,
limited,
yeah,
yes,
so.
and primarily for just the wine tastings. Yeah, I'm not looking to become a seller of bottles of wine or beer.
I don't have a problem with it.
I don't either.
I'll make a motion that we give her a off-sale,
I think you have to change the ordinance.
amend the ordinance first. I'll make a motion that we amend the ordinance from 7 to 8 licenses,
I'll second that.
off-sale licenses.
9
Yeah, can we make it,
else coming in.
Well, they're gonna, should we do that or wait until they, I'd rather have her come in and do the same thing this applicant did.
But you're going to change the
make
ordinance.
another amendment? I mean, another ordinance.
Takes 2 seconds. That's just me. She's done the legwork. The other lady hasn't.
Okay, well,
Well, and if there's another vacant liquor license in town, who knows who will pop in.
Right, I'd rather wait and she can, if she wants it, she can come in here.
okay, well, I'll second that motion.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Well, we need to
All in
vote.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
So that's the first reading.
Thank you.
Just trying to help.
Okay.
Next, I provided you each with a memo regarding vacation pay and just a recommendation so that an employee does not lose their vacation pay if they're unable to take their time due to situations at work which have kept them in the office, that you allow them to roll that over into a deferred comp plan.
I have more discussion on this.
Do all employees have a deferred compensation plan? So we'd have to initiate that.
It's available to them.
Okay.
It's available, but they're not enrolled.
Okay, you say employee handbook. This is for the part-timers. Everybody else is in unions. You are in a union, whether you like it or not, you are in a collective bargaining unit.
Anything that's not addressed in a union then gets referred to in the handbook.
But vacation is addressed in the union contracts.
This one?
It is.
The details of vacation, right, there is explanation, and they all differ. They're not all the same. We have 3 union contracts, and then we have the employee handbook. So if it's not specified in a union contract, then it reverts to the city's employee handbook. And so this is just an amendment or asking for consideration. So I'm just putting out there for a topic of discussion for the council.
I think it would be great for employees to have that option.
Well, I have a problem with it. The problem is you're talking about giving employees 40 hours of comp time, okay? Now, well, that's being proposed.
It's,
This is vacation time pay. It's not comp.
Right.
Let me finish. You give them 40 hours of comp time, they take a week off as comp time, but it's a vacation. So they save their vacation time and they roll it over into a different fund. Now we end up paying them 2 times. No, I am absolutely not in favor of one or the other. One or the other's got to go.
Well, I thought we worked so hard in union negotiations to bring it down from 30 hours to 20 hours, and now we're just going right back to 30 hours again.
No, we're not.
Or the idea,
Yeah,
the idea.
The accumulation carryover is in every union contract. That I know. So there would be no reason to put it in the employee handbook. The employee handbook is for anything that's not addressed in the union contracts. So there's no point in putting it in here because the only ones would be the part-timers that use the employee handbook, unless it's not addressed in the union contract. I got to believe that almost everything is addressed in the union contracts. Looking at them, for dozens of pages.
but not everyone's in the union.
Yes, they are.
Shar isn't.
Shar is
She's in her
too.
own union,
Oh, she has.
or
her
she's
own
in the union.
Everybody is.
Everyone's there.
But what I'm saying,
You are in the union.
Oh, gosh.
The labor attorney already told us.
By,
You are in a union. You're reflecting.
but the thing of it is, it's sitting proposed in contracts right now, the comp time. Number one, they're a nightmare to manage. And number two, all you do is you give them an opportunity to, and I'm not saying anybody would pad anything, I'm saying earn time that all of a sudden they're taking off instead of their vacation time. So no, if you pass this, then the comp time issue comes out of every contract, every one of them. I think you all need to understand how it's going to affect financially.
Well, I think we need to address one issue at a time.
Well,
I mean,
but
and
this
we've-
issue carries to the other one and affects it. So you better discuss them together so they understand why they're there.
I just think that this particular item does not need to be approved because there is, in every union contract, Teamsters, AFSCME, MNP, all of them have the accumulation carryover in the contracts. So there's no reason for this at all in the employee handbook.
I agree.
And the employee handbook is followed by the part-timers or non-union, and part-timers don't get vacation, and there are no non-union besides part-time.
And I agree with you. I talked to the state of, what is it, the state retirement, and he said we don't need council approval to put accumulated vacation time into our deferred comp plan.
Then just do it.
But,
You could put your vacation time in there into deferred comp,
right,
but you're not going to carry over any then.
right.
So, but you can't put in more vacation time than what you're allowed to carry over.
Correct, correct. So,
this is just spelling it out so that employees can have that option, because it's not clearly defined in any contract or in the employee handbook.
You're talking the
And-
deferred comp now.
Yes.
So this is all,
So
I
this
agree.
is-
It's not in there about deferred comp. I
So
don't.
this is this is just to say, if someone comes up and wants to do that, that we have a policy in place for it.
okay, I was tying this to that 30 hours.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this proposal.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
But it is clear that it's only what they can accrue otherwise.
Yeah.
But they can't dump everything in there.
Okay, the next one is a resolution regarding unpaid sewer charges. These two that you have in front, this needs to be on the assessment roll, and again, that has to be done by the end of November. So I would like a motion for this resolution.
I'll make a motion to pass this resolution regarding unpaid sewer charges.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
The next matter is the MMUA safety renewal of our safety training contract. We are on Tier 2. They have proposed a 3.5% increase with inflation. We have utilized them well, and I think that this is a program that we should continue. This is also supported by the league.
I move to approve the renewal of the safety contract.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
What one are we going to do? Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3? Are we going
Yeah.
to stay with Tier 2?
We are in Tier 2, and we do one training per month, and that's the one we would stay with. So last year, we paid $14,929.95. The 3.5% increase would bring that to $15,453.
Okay. All right.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
And last is the renewal of Clifton Larson Allen for the end of the year audit. I had received a request from council member to go out for RFPs. However, I contacted 3 firms, and they all looked at our data, and they all said they do not have enough CPAs employed to take on additional work. They said that we could contact them again during the first quarter of 2025 to get on their radar for 2026. So this contract is with our current auditor. I believe it is page
Mary's done it for years.
7 under the fee schedule, being $30,500, but they add 5% on for technology fee. I know it also says that they will bill for travel, report production, etc. So I contacted Mary, and she said, yes, that is not the case. It's just standard verbiage. But that $30,500 plus you can add 500 to file it with OSA, and then the 5%. Okay?
I'll make a motion that way.
What
Go
was
ahead.
last year's?
I don't know what last year's was.
I doubt it was the same.
I'll second the motion so you can go with discussion.
I thought it was 27, but I mean, it's only normal, it goes up.
We really don't have a choice. I couldn't get any RFPs. We have to have the audit. It is a requirement.
Mary, she's done it for years.
Okay, so it was a
First,
motion to
second.
approve?
Yeah.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye. Aaron.
Opposed? All right, commission reports. Planning and zoning.
All right, good evening, Mayor, council members. First agenda tonight is the approval of the final plat Rolling Woods. It's a subdivision of 3 different parcels involving 18.3 acres into 13 individual tracts and 3 outlots. Attached in your packet is the final plat. The preliminary plat was approved by City Council on September 8th. What we are looking for tonight would be an action request to approve the final plat of the Rolling Woods.
Can I just confirm with you, we had this discussion earlier, that it's now zoned as shoreland?
It is all, yes, the entire,
Whole thing is.
yeah, the 3 parcels are all zoned in the Shoreland District.
So typically in the shoreland, they have to be single residence?
Yes.
Single-family residence, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the final plot for Rolling Woods.
Okay. I'll second.
Okay, any other discussion on it? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Where'd Sharon go? Well, okay, I abstained from it, right? Sounds like it passed 4-1, or 4-0.
All right, and then along with that, the second item, the Cross Lake Parks Recreation and Library Commission recommends that they take cash in lieu of land to be collected by the Rolling Hills subdivision. And so we would just need a motion from the council to accept cash in lieu of land for the Rolling Woods plat.
Is that 1,500 or 3,000? What is
It would be $1,500 per lot, so 1,500 times 13 individual lots.
I move we accept the cash in lieu of property per lot, $1,500 per lot.
I'll second.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 4.
TJ.
Alrighty, good evening. First on my report here, I have a Halloween party recap. Just to let you all know, we host an annual Halloween party in our gymnasium. We rented some bounce houses, had some candy, cookies, and a lot of fun with the kids. The participation was a bit down. It was really nice out, so I think families wanted to be outside, and there was a lot of other things going on in the community. So we might look at switching that up a little bit. We've been doing it pretty much the same way for 25 years, so some fun things maybe to come here in the future. I do want to say a special thank you to the following sponsors: Cross Lake 50 Lakes American Legion Post 500, they donated $500. Tremolo Communications, they donated Halloween glow sticks. Reed's Market, they donated cookies and frosting. And the Cross Lake Girl Scouts, they were there volunteering at the party. So thank you to all those sponsors.
TJ, you had considered maybe incorporating like hay rides or?
Yeah, we're looking at maybe doing like a fall festival type event earlier in October instead of closer towards Halloween because it gets so busy with other trunk or treating activities, so on and so forth. So more to come on that.
Okay.
I would recommend you don't do it the same day that the Army Corps does theirs.
Yeah.
Correct. All right, item 2 here, we have a resolution in front of you. A little history on this. As you know, Mike O'Connell's been presenting on this trail project for quite some time. He is working with WSN to try and knock this out. WSN did come up with a feasibility study, and with that, they came up with some numbers on what they anticipate this would cost. Let me just pull it up here. So from essentially the bridge down to East Shore Road, they estimate it would cost $550,000. This funding, they would apply for $550,000, and then it would require a 10% match, which is obviously $55,000. That the Lakes Foundation, is their goal to raise that money, as well as the engineering and all the other planning that goes involved or that goes on with this project, which would be approximately $150,000. So again, as Mike has stated in previous meetings, it is his goal with the Lakes Foundation to come up with the money somehow, some way, private donations, businesses, to try to come up with that remaining amount. I do want to make it known that we have been approved for the SS4A funding, which is planning, and we have yet to go through that process. We don't know what the priority is going to be following that result of that planning, SS4A. We don't know, the numbers could change with this portion of the project. So I do want to make it known that, you know, WSN, they did do a feasibility study, but the finer details of that section may have not been touched on yet. And that potential extra money would either have to come from the Lakes Foundation or the city itself. So I just want to make that known as we go down this venture, if you guys do approve this resolution, to consider that.
But the Lakes Foundation is hopeful that they'll be able to raise the.
They have some money that, I don't know if it's already in the bank, but they have some folks who are interested in donating, a possible business donating in on it. So it's something that obviously you all, since you kind of gave them the head nod, it's a priority in the city to look at that corridor, that we want a better, safer route for pedestrians. And it's just, if you want to continue on this endeavor, and we'll continue to work on the SS4A in conjunction with this.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this resolution.
Second.
Discussion?
The county is fully on board with allowing all this to take place and happen?
I cannot
I'm
answer
sorry,
that question.
Tim, I have to ask.
Look at that smile. How can they not be on board?
Yes, there's a lot of money being
So you can just
talked
keep
about here,
smiling,
so
Tim. That's all right. We get it.
I don't want to commit new members into a large financial.
Mayor and council, TJ, thanks. This one's been a conundrum for me because it's really not coming through the city's engineer, honestly, and WSN has been working with the Lakes Foundation. And so they funded a study, a feasibility study, I believe, to actually get WSN looking at, you know, what's possible there, but I haven't seen a thing. And so I don't know what they're proposing. I don't know if it's going to fill in the ditch and affect drainage. We don't know if it's going to affect some of the core infrastructure that's out there and those
No
kind of things.
paths are crossing with you, huh?
What's that?
There's no communication with you on it?
No, I wouldn't say there's no communication, but the actual design that they have, we have not approved. And I hate to get in a situation where you get money and then what it needs to be built according to our specifications and the Corps' requirements and stuff is much higher than that. And then they're looking at the Lakes Foundation for much higher dollar amounts. They may be able to do that. I'm just concerned what the design is. We don't just slap a, trail right alongside the shoulder, and we've had that proposed in many areas. The Gull Lake Trail, which is a very organized group, their initial thing was just to do that, and we work with them, and the cost of that project went way up to meet our specifications. It could be fine, but I just want, I want you to understand the risks possibly with this, so.
TJ, can you pass that concern on?
I certainly can.
We did talk extensively on the phone about this. Phil, the city representative, was there too, and I was trying to explain these risks and give TJ and then possibly Phil some information to share with you about whether moving forward or not. It sounds like a good project. I know a lot of the people that are in the process of approving it or encouraging WSN and their engineers to move forward on this, and it could be funded, but I'm
Mike's been really good about making sure things are in place before he spends, let me put it that way. But I needed to hear what you're having to say.
I think it's a good project. I wish there was more time.
Yeah.
And that everybody involved understands the risks of a $550,000 project turning into $1 million, and then you're trying to figure out where to find the other money. I don't know that right now.
Yeah.
Do you need the resolution tonight? Can't we just table action and when you are further down the line and you get a design that's been approved, and then the city council can jump in with both feet?
The reason why it does feel like a rush is because I believe the deadline is the 15th or the 16th. It's somewhere, I believe it's within the next week or so.
So what if the $500,000 or the $500,000 turns into $1 million? Then we're gonna be scrambling.
Then the money would have to either be on the city or the Lake Foundation raising that additional funding.
I've been to some meetings with Mike regarding this project, and I know you have.
I have too, and it's what kind of shocks me that you haven't been kept in the loop.
We've been talking about it, but I've not seen a design,
Yeah.
and we would want to make sure that they approve. And I think honestly, the board meeting was today, and I believe that they need some affirmation from the county, and there's not time to get a resolution before that. So I'm concerned about that timeline.
So the
as
county
well.
didn't affirm this project either? So we would
I've
be
not
in
seen a
alone?
design or a concept of where the trail is going to go.
So can we approve this based on the county's acceptance or support of it? And that would give you a couple days to gain that support?
Well, they've already had their, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
We have the meeting. I think if you want to move forward, I would do something like that because I need to get on board with the
Yeah.
So could we-
WSN. Phil, have you seen any concept, any drawings on paper about where it's gonna go?
So if you're going to make a motion, I
So we
would
could make the motion conditional upon county approval.
support, yeah.
County support.
I don't know how long Tim needs. Is 2 days enough? I mean, that's,
I say, I don't think you'll get it by the deadline.
yeah.
No.
Exactly.
If there's, seems to be support at the state level for this, we're hearing behind the scenes, you're gonna probably do it backdoor, getting your information. Do they need your support because we're not a 5,000 pop? It's gotta go through you?
I think that's the reason why.
Right, we're not a state.
Potentially.
So I think they can make it work. They want you to have the money or a good chance. I think they'll figure out how to make it work after the fact.
If the state doesn't come through, you're not going to put the money forward anyway.
Right.
It's going to die. So I think you're safe.
So you're saying we should support it, Phil, and see where it goes?
I'm saying I think you can do the process, even though like the county boards are, I think you can do it. Tim's points are good ones, but
I'm personally in
it's
support of it.
$500,000 that apparently is coming.
Bill, let's go out and branch.
I just,
Do it.
I brought it up just,
I already made the motion.
I brought it up just so
Yeah.
you make the
No, I
decision,
appreciate it.
knowing some of the risk and some of the tales that are out there yet. I'll do what I can to help. I'm not gonna be able to pull together a special board meeting or anything like that, so they'd have to accept it after the deadline if it's something that we accept. So there's some challenges with it. So just wanted to make you aware of those.
So if it's got to go through the county, it's going to be a dead issue. You won't meet the deadline.
Unless they let me somehow get it to them later. And I don't know if they'll allow me to do that.
Roll the dice.
So, yeah, I made a motion, and was there a second?
Yeah.
So,
And the motion was to support?
yes.
But it's contingent.
No.
No, you're just going, you're just
Are we-
sticking your
can I
neck out for
restate my
$500,000.
motion? Can I restate my motion?
I don't think you need to.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No, only because
No, I get
I'm
it.
not,
I get it.
you understand why I'm voting no. I'm not against the project at all, but $500,000.
I get it.
Don't do the project.
Okay. Patrick?
All right, first thing that is the snow removal on 66 and 3 for in the sidewalk areas.
66 and 3.
Just on the sidewalk. Kathy Allen sent an email memo to this as well.
Yeah, there's an email about it too, and the problem with clearing the snow is there's no place to put it. And if we do blow it in a couple of properties with the salt and everything, we're gonna kill everything off.
So I
So the only
believe,
alternative would be to load it in trucks, and we'd have to buy a chute for the blower for
I
that.
think there's one more alternative. That is all commercial property, correct?
Yep.
We could put it on the burden of the landowners, the property owners, business owners to clear their sidewalk.
Could do that, but along, when you go past Andy's and that's a snowmobile trailer, so we definitely don't want that one cleared.
Yeah, I'd leave that one full, or otherwise it's gonna get chewed up and
Right, it's gonna
destroyed.
get destroyed by the snowmobiles.
Where's the snowmobile trail by Andy's?
Well, you know how they shoot
They
across.
shoot right down there all the time.
On the actual trail.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not a trail.
So, you know,
Any place in town is a trail if you look at it that way.
yeah, right, you're right, but just food for thought that there's a lot of them that run up and down there.
This is actually from Swan Drive. to
Put
Eagle
barriers
Trail
up?
Yeah,
That you're talking about.
right.
I think we should just kind of table this. We don't have to decide today. Maybe have our attorney give us an opinion of it as far as the ADA standpoint.
I did
is.
email Joe today and asked
Yeah.
for his opinion as well, as asked him about amending the sidewalk and snow removal ordinance. Thoughts on that?
I mean, a lot of cities require businesses to
Right.
clear the sidewalks,
Right.
so.
I think we should table it and get some more information for the next meeting.
Okay.
I
Sounds
know
good.
the Safety Commission had worked on this and talked about this and wanted to support the sidewalk being cleaned for people to walk on and to move away from the traffic flow. I think, Tom.
Yeah. Might as well get some public comment here.
I may blow this out of the water.
Why wouldn't you, Tom?
According to your construction cost share and maintenance agreement with the county, and this is where Public Works, I guess we weren't aware of this, it does say in here, the city shall be responsible for any snow and ice removal from the trails and sidewalks. Previous agreements related to the separated paved trail on the west side of 66 shall remain in effect. So it sounds like in the agreement with the county, unfortunately,
be
we're
responsible.
obliged to clean the snow and ice, which,
That we're responsible for it, and they're not.
Was that the intent of that, Tim? That was the intent? Okay. All right, well.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. It's crazy to have this beautiful new sidewalk and we can't use it.
It's gonna take some manpower.
it's gonna take manpower, and I don't know if we
And-
even
and
have
the
the
right
equipment,
equipment.
but
So we have to buy a new chute for the blower so we can load it up and haul the snow out.
Why don't we just amend the ordinance to make the property owner
What do you got?
responsible?
So my question, I had asked this of Patrick before too. So snowplow comes by and we get a mega snow winter, and like in front of my store, I'm gonna have a mountain on that sidewalk.
Right.
So that's gonna be a big issue to try to keep that. I understood that we just weren't gonna clear the sidewalks.
That's what we talked originally.
Yeah. So as a property owner with a sidewalk, I would just like to know that.
Well, the ADA, Kathy brought up that point about the ADA, and maybe we might have to. So I think we need to table it and look into some more things for next month.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Need a motion to table it? Or?
I'll make a motion to table this discussion about snow removal till next month's meeting.
Okay, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So are we thinking that we're going to have the property owners responsible? Then they should draft an ordinance to that effect, amendment to our ordinance to that.
I think let's
That
just,
is why I asked Joe to look at both of those and make a proposal to us as well.
We'll know in December.
but now, Tom just read that the city took that on, so.
Get an idea of labor and equipment, because
My
it gets
understanding
to
of
be
that
more
is
than
that-
just the people.
That the county just isn't going to take care of that sidewalk, that it would be our responsibility, so we have to figure out how to do it.
That's not what Tim indicated, I just asked him.
Okay?
That I thought.
What?
That the city is responsible.
I mean,
Declare, yeah.
Tim, can I get you to take a second and just clarify that? Did we just relieve you of the burden of clearing that sidewalk, and we could do it however we wanted to, or did we say that we were gonna take care of it?
So this cost share and maintenance agreement that we signed associated with this project was really to establish a relationship between us. And what I intended to say is that we aren't gonna plow it. It isn't, you must plow it. You have
However
to
we
seek
figure it out.
attorney, you'd have to seek guidance if you have to plow it.
Okay.
This didn't
That's what I
establish
thought
that
it
you
was, too.
must keep it open for the public, it's just that we are not gonna do it.
Okay.
That was the intent of
Got
this.
it, that's what I thought it was.
Okay.
So whether it's an ordinance change, whatever, but let's look into it.
You also probably need
Yeah.
to visit with Jordan a little bit, too.
Okay. B, Pat?
All right, B's, we were looking at Johnny Street down there by the Galloway property. It's a sharp 90-degree bend in the road and everyone cuts the corner there.
Yep.
We're working with Phil, for next summer so we can get that straightened, not straightened out so much, but widen it so we can have everyone stop cutting in his property. And
Good
then
idea.
a second note to that, for the mayor was that the property across from Galloway's, where they filled in the ditch, they're supposed to be in there sometime next week to fix that ditch that they filled in.
I've been hearing that for a month, Pat.
Well, we talked to him last week and he said he's gonna be in there this week, or this following week, so.
He should be in there this week. He should be in there this week.
Okay.
Because if he waits till next week, it's gonna be too froze to do
Too
it.
cold. He said he's gonna be up here, so I'm hopeful that he gets up here and gets it taken care of.
And you told him that if he didn't do it, then we would do
Yep,
it and
yep.
bill him back.
Yep. And he also knows, they got the sprinklers and everything in there, so he's more than
Whatever,
willing to
it's
come
in
up
the
and
right
get
of
it
way.
done.
Yeah, I called the homeowner and the landscape outfit that the homeowner was working with, and they both said by the end of this week, they would give both Pat and I a call, and we can go out there and take a look at it
And it's
while the
gonna be done.
landscaper's up there and get it done.
Okay, great.
Make sure it's as deep as the adjacent ditches. Don't let them get,
Yeah, that middle section, we agreed that
needs
it would meet the standards of both, the same depth of the outside ditches.
It needs storage in that ditch. But, if they don't do it this week, Pat, you should really get in there next week.
Yep.
It's gonna be frozen.
Oh, it's coming.
It's
It's
gonna
coming
wreck
in a
that
hurry.
road if it floods over it, and it's,
All right, the next one is, recommendation to hire Nagel, do our appraising like we've done before in road projects.
okay, and that's for the 2025 road projects?
Yes.
Okay, is there a cost estimate with that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
$2,000 or something?
2,700.
I'll make a motion to recommend to hire Nagel appraising for the 2025 projects.
Second.
Second, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Carries.
And Phil, did you want to talk about the Harbor Lane one?
So, as you know, we've been working on the Harbor Lane easements, roadway easements. We have signatures on 4 to 5, and the 5th one is the Kavanaugh property. We're getting some language figured out. It's actually now in the city attorney's hands. The Public Works has recommended that the city move forward or consider moving forward with the final design. So I provided an updated proposal for the final design to bring Harbor Lane to construction plans so it can be bid for next year if the city wants to go that direction.
And how about the easement acquisition? Has that already been taken care of?
No.
No, we have four or 5 properties have signed. The 5th one, I don't know if Jordan has any input, but he's working on the last discussions that they have about certain words they want in there. And I don't know if you've made any progress.
So that 14,000 has not been paid yet? That's part of this proposal?
Well, we've kind of been doing it, so it's
Jordan, do you
included in
know?
here.
At this point, I've reached out to the property owner's attorney to try to set up a time to discuss, to just finalize these few provisions. I don't think it'll take long. It's just a matter of connecting.
Well, I'll say it again. Until you have all 5 easements, you
Right.
shouldn't start design.
And this design is a $63,000 design or 48? That's what-
48.
Okay.
Make a motion.
Well, we could make a motion to move forward based on the acceptance or the final of the easements.
Approve the proposal, and it's at $48,844.
But you got to have a contingent there on that 5th easement.
Contingent on getting that 5th easement dialed in.
Expense, yeah.
Yeah, based on it, yeah, it said that there, yeah.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, and the next one was you have the update on the sewer line damage and repairs. It's all been repaired, camera. Everything's good there. Few hiccups there, but we're gonna be compiling all the bills and then figuring out.
Just a few.
Just a few.
Just a few.
But bottom line is it's flowing good. We had a camera, everything's good there. We're gonna work with Lori to get the billing taken care of and see who's gonna pay for what on all that.
No motion, just update there?
That's just an update.
Okay.
And then an update on the new employees that, we're very happy with them. We have laughter in our break room again, so life is good on that, and they all seem to be working good. And I had one more thing that did not get on the list. This is for building maintenance at the waste treatment plant. We have 3 doors that one needs to be replaced, well, all 3 of them are, 2 of them are sliders and one's a door that has no insulation in it. The total bill to replace all 3 doors is $13,529.31.
These overhead or?
Overhead doors. We had 2 sliders we're gonna get rid of and 1 overhead door.
Is that gonna be split with the county?
Nope, this is waste treatment plant, but it comes out of our building maintenance fund.
And
that
you
we-
have
Yes.
13,000 in there?
Yes, we haven't spent any money on maintenance this year in the capital outlay, yeah.
Okay, great.
So you need approval of that?
Yes, if you would, please.
I'll make a motion that we approve the $13,529.31 for the wastewater treatment plant doors to, is this the company, the Advantage?
Yes.
Home, to Advantage Home Pros.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'm gonna run and get a glass of water, just keep going.
Range fire.
In front of you, you have a resolution to support the Canadian Range Fire Service Mutual Aid Agreement. This is just a formality. We've been a part of the agreement's been around since they formed, and they're just updating their files for the mutual aid agreement.
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution in support of the Cuyuna Range Fire Service Mutual Aid Agreement.
I'll second that.
Marcia, go ahead.
All in favor?
Oh, Marcia needs
Well-
to.
Oh, you want me to do the vote too? Okay, go ahead. Let's have the vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well, can't you just say yes?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, whatever. Oh, you should take over.
No,
because
you're
the
still
mayor.
in the power. You're still in the seat. You're second in
Here comes
command.
the mayor.
Boy, that was quick, I didn't mean to carry on.
Oh, you just have to call for the vote.
Okay, we're voting to approve this?
Yeah.
Can I get a motion in a second?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. City Attorney Report, Jordan, what do you have?
No. We've got more.
Yep, there's another one. Yep.
Where?
Oh,
Flip your, right there.
Well, I thought that's what you just approved.
done this one, yeah.
No?
So this is, this is an offer to have the first reading of the ordinance to regulate cannabis business. This was discussed at the Public Safety Committee.
Yeah.
And I had our attorney work on this to what the Public Safety Committee recommended, and that is 1 retail store within the city limits and no growing facilities. To exercise the right to have, prohibit cannabis business within 1,000 feet of a school, 500 feet within a daycare, and 500 feet of a residential treatment facility. And we have Minnesota Roots here tonight, and if they would like to come up and talk about their business, that's fine. Otherwise, this would be the first reading.
Okay, I got a question though, the Minnesota Roots where it's at now, is that more than 500 feet from the, it is? So nothing affects you right now?
No, everything in the ordinance, we have read it, we met with Lori this morning, and everything is good. So we're within plenty of distance from the daycare center and the schools and everything.
And if a new daycare came in, they would have to acknowledge that you were there first
Correct.
and be
Yes.
500 feet away.
Yep.
Okay.
But this will ban the sale of any cannabis or the growing of any cannabis in the city of Cross Lake.
That's not correct. This,
So I understood it.
It's
this will allow for a retail store, which will sell but the growing facility is in there to be banned.
I'm talking about the actual cannabis. I'm not talking about byproducts.
No, it says it's limited to.
One store.
One retail store, and it says in here that the cultivation is not permitted.
I don't want any sale of cannabis or growing of cannabis in the city of Cross Lake. That was the intent of what it was. Am I wrong, Bob?
No.
It's to be nothing. The only thing they can sell is their I call them gummy bears, but that type of product, okay?
That's not what this ordinance says. That's not how it reads.
No, that's not how it reads. And Jordan, if you can hop on, this is cities, or the state statute is to allow one facility, right? I can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
He's second.
Sorry about that. There you go. I was just gonna say, I didn't have this on my radar tonight, so I didn't review this ordinance. This is one that Joe put together. So I don't have the answers off the top of my head here on those questions.
Well, what was your question? You're allowed to have one, or you have to have one?
No, you're allowed to have one.
Right.
Do we have to have one sales within the city limits?
We do.
I can look into that. Like I said, this wasn't something that I reviewed prior to tonight.
From the Safety Services Commission was that there would be no sale of actual cannabis, the leaves, that type of thing, anywhere in the city, nor any growing operation anywhere in the city. We're a community of short-term rentals. Think about that for 2 seconds.
Actually, if I can just add into that, Aaron, so cannabis actually draws a large population to the community. It's not just in regards to the short-term rentals. And if we want to look at the short-term rentals, then the liquor licenses come into effect with that as well.
No, we're talking about cannabis here.
Correct, but I'm just saying that, that's a factor as well. And the cannabis in the city actually, the city can put stipulations on what we can and cannot do, but I do believe they cannot say that we cannot have a location within the community.
You can have the location to sell the byproduct, whatever you want to call it, okay? But you can't sell the actual marijuana or grow it. That's what I'm saying.
I guess I'm confused on what you're talking about with byproduct and actual cannabis. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
You can buy and sell marijuana, the plants.
Correct.
Okay. I don't want any marijuana plant sales or growing in the city. Nothing.
So are you just talking about like the flower, or are you talking about edibles and all
No,
of that?
I'm not talking edibles. Talking about the actual plant being sold, flower, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Unfortunately, I don't think the city has much of a stance on saying we can or cannot do that at this point because of the way the state laws wrote. The one thing that you can say is that there's a limit of what can be put in.
Jordan, will you check on that? Will you check on that, Jordan? Because I'll tell you what, as a person that's been affected very negatively with marijuana, I want nothing to do with it in this city.
Well, can I just, Aaron, can you clarify, for you, the difference between,
You can't do anything about what did you call them?
edibles?
Edibles. You can't do anything about that. But I'm talking about selling marijuana. You can light it, smoke it.
Well, but we have an ordinance against smoking it in public.
Well, I don't care about that. They can smoke it everywhere else. Do you want all the rentals in town having their marijuana parties?
They already do, Aaron.
Why are you making it easy for them to buy it right here?
Law. They approved it in the state of Minnesota.
It's the way they've done it. It's the way the state legislature wrote it.
I thought you checked with the attorney. Lori, did you check with the attorney that I had asked?
I disagree with that.
I agree.
It's a state law, it's accepted.
Right.
Any private individual can grow it in your garage all you want.
Well, there's people,
There's people are regulated, so the marijuana's tested, so it's, not going to
Clean.
kill people. Like, people buying it from the black market is what's hurting people.
Right.
then go buy it somewhere else, not in Cross Lake. Okay?
Okay, at public safety though, I had asked Lori, can we prohibit selling? And you had talked to the city attorney, and you said you could limit the retail stores and the growing operations. So I don't think he ever said anything about the flower or what, I don't know
The
that much about
flower
it.
wasn't discussed at public safety.
No, it wasn't.
Well, we can't, I mean, this is just a reading, right? It's not, we're not passing it.
Passing the first reading.
Right.
We can make amendments before the second reading, we just can't totally rewrite it.
But what is the
So I think
amendment?
you need clarification on retail store, is what Aaron's asking, what he considers a retail store. At public safety, we never talked about the flower.
There's nothing we're gonna be able to do about it anyways.
Bob, I thought we did. You're the chair of the
No,
committee.
we did not.
Maybe at the other end of the table. I don't know.
I thought we were
I
pretty
never
clear
knew
it was
anything
on
about it.
both.
Aaron, I think there was a little confusion on everybody's part as to what was what. I think that's the problem.
But the bottom line is we are in a recreational area, and we just allowed another liquor license to go out the door.
Right.
So for us to try to take a stand against legitimate marijuana is kind of crazy.
Mute.
Well, my vote is no.
Okay.
I understand.
Be absolutely no.
This is the first reading, there is no motion.
Okay, so we're not gonna make a motion to it?
Oh, it's
We
the
gotta-
first reading.
You gotta do the
If you want to
first
change
reading.
anything, you get it changed before the second reading and adoption.
Or you have to make a motion to pass this one, and then we have to read it again at the next meeting for it to pass.
If there's something that the council does not like, or if the citizens don't like it, you've got to step up to the plate and say so before we adopt the ordinance at the second reading, and that'll be it next month, right? Okay.
Well, based on state ordinances and what I've read, I make a motion to pass this first.
This is the first reading.
Right.
She said pass the first reading.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have to pass it.
Well,
It's
it
just the
says they
first
need a
reading.
council action to motion.
Well, you just do the first reading and then you
Is
adopt
anybody
it
gonna
at the
second
second
that?
reading.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
4-1, motion carries.
It should have been.
City Hall.
Take it up with Governor Walz.
Didn't we just have a first reading on that other one and there was no motion?
Do the city attorney report?
Yep. Okay, Jordan, what do you have for the city attorney report?
Here?
Hey, good evening, Mayor, council members. I know Joe and I have been in contact with city staff on a few issues this month, and we have a few that are outstanding. I know we already talked about it today, but we're going to finalize that last easement agreement for the Harbor Lane improvements. And now we're adding the question about snow removal and the potential implications under the ADA. Now we'll provide some clarification on this, this new ordinance that was just read to. But if there are any other questions, certainly let us know and we'll coordinate with city staff to get those questions answered. That's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Jordan. Any new business?
I've got some new business. Our outdoor warning sirens arrived yesterday, the 6 poles. These are the 3 that they dropped off at the Public Works that we are going to use later as we find out how bad a shape some of the other 3 poles are. Next. This is them installing the new pole today out on Tamarack Road. It's about 12 feet taller than the old wood pole, so it actually sits up there pretty high. It's going to get out a good distance for the siren. And then the third one is, no, that's just still the same one. Go to the next one. That's the new pole that replaced the one behind the telephone company. It's right in the school parking lot there, in between the school parking lot and the post office.
Cool.
So that's this galvanized steel pole, and it looks good.
How many are you gonna do?
They're doing three of them this year with the galvanized pole. Then they're gonna service all the other sirens and find out how bad they really are. And then we're gonna replace the 3 worst poles with the ones that we bought the used poles that we bought that are sitting at Public Works, and that'll be next year or whenever you decide to do it.
Are they doing that inspection this fall yet? I
This
mean,
week.
This week?
Yep.
So we'll know.
Yep, they're spending the whole week installing and taking out the old poles. They're gonna take out the old siren between the church and the telephone company that is like 70 years old. I was out there today with them, working on it, and pretty good operation, but they're very good. They're gonna last forever, so it's a good deal there.
Will we hear them tomorrow?
Well, maybe the next day when they test them.
Okay.
All right, any old business?
I have one. Jordan, can you speak on behalf of the Uland Garden Memorial donation?
Sure. Yeah, so there's a question a few months back now relating to this Memorial Gardens. And I had raised question during the council meeting about whether it would be a proper public expenditure, right? Whether there was statutory authority for that type of expenditure. And talking more with TJ, it sounds like this is a property that, while it would be, you know, a garden that would be available to the public, it's owned by a private entity. So our analysis is that would be an impermissible expenditure, right? Because it would go to direct benefit of this private entity. So that was just something I followed up with TJ on. If you guys have more questions about that, I can certainly answer any questions.
Which garden is that, TJ?
So if you're coming in from the south end, it would be just to the left-hand side, just off of the Corps of Engineers parcel there.
So whose garden is it?
It's on core property,
Corps property.
where that butterfly is and the outhouse and whatever the heck that is.
Okay. Okay, no other questions?
Okay.
Thank you, Jordan.
Bet.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.